Good morning, students. So let's start file handling in Python. So I will explain you today here file handling. What is the file handling and how to handles in Python, right? So Python supports file handling and allow user to handle files. For example, to read, write files. So along with many other files handling options to operate on files, right? So this concepts of file handling has stressed over various other languages, but the implementation is either complicated or lengthy. But like other concepts of Python, this concept here is also easy and short. So Python 3 treats file differently as text or binary, and this is very important. So each line of codes includes a sequence of characters and the form of text files. Each line of a file is terminated with a special characters that is called end of line EOL. So EOL characters like commas or new line characters, it ends with the current line and tells the interpreter a new one has begun. So let's start with reading and writing files. So before it starting, so I will tell you about I will cover on these topics like open functions, read functions, write functions on that, right? So working of the open functions. So before performing any operations on the file like read or write, so first we have to open that file. For this, we should use Python's inbuilt functions open, right? So here we are using the open functions, right? So at the time of opening, we have to specify the mode that will represents the purpose of the opening file. The syntax of that f is equal to open file name, like for example, uh, the name of the file Vijay. So Vijay.text, and what will be the mode? Read, write, append. What will be the mode there? So R. I will place into the R, right? So where the following mode is supported. So here R will shows open an existing file for a read operation. So there should be a file on a proper path. Should be a file in a folder where which which the file we want to read. Now another option is W. W is open an existing file for a write operations. So if the file already contains some data when it is overridden. So first we will open an existing file like widget.txt for a write operations. If the file already contains some data, so it will be overridden. For suppose we have a file vijay.txt and where we have written some document like Vijay lives in Bhopal, and if we want to overwrite the data Vijay lives in Bangalore, so we can overwrite the data, right? Now A for open an existing file for append operations. So it will not overriding existing data, it will append the data on that particularly file. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. Now another operation is R plus. So R plus is to read and write data into the files. The previous data in the file will not be deleted. So here we will read and write data into the file. So here the read and write data into the file, both operations will be performing into a data. So previous data in the file will not be deleted, right? Now W plus to write and read the data. We will write and read the data, but it will override the existing data. So W plus we will perform when W plus, so it will override the existing data. Whereas R plus, it will not override, it will be putting into that file the previous data in the file will not be deleted. A plus. A plus to append and delete data from the file. It will not override existing data. So A plus will same follows the rules, like it will not override the existing data. Have you understood these operations are W, A, R plus, W plus, A plus. So there are 6 operations in file handlings, right? In next slide, we will see the examples of how we are reading, appending, writing, and how we are performing these operations. Now we are taking a file named Vijay will be opened with the reading mode, right? So file is equal to open vijay.txt, and that will be the only read operation. So what is the read operations? Open an existing file for a read operation. So just I am opening this file for the reading. You can take another example, xyz.txt, bhopal.txt, sid.txt, whatever you want to show some contents particularly of the file. So you can just open vijay.txt and r, right? So this will print every line one by one in the file, and for each file print each. You have to use for each file print each. So the open command will open the file in the read mode, and for loop will print each line present in the file. So each line representing the file, and it will print every lines, right? Now I will explain you about the working of read mode operations. So there is more than one ways to read a file in Python. If you need to extract a string that contains all the characters in the file, then we can use file.read. So the full code would work like this. So if we need to extract the string that all contains all the characters, so we will use file.read. So here I am using Python code to illustrate read mode. So file is equal to open file.txt and r and print file.read. So it will containing all the characters in the file. So then we use file.read. So it will show you contains every characters in your file. Is that clear to you? Shall we move? Okay. Now creating a file using write mode. So we have done with the read file. Now we are creating the write. Now we are creating file using write mode. So Python code to create a file. First, I will use file is equal to open vijay.txt and with w operations, write. So file.write, this is the write command. File.write, it allows us to write in a particularly file, and file.close at the last, it will close the file. So close command, why we are using the close command, terminates all the resources in use and frees the systems of this particularly program, right? So this is the thing we are using the write mode. Is there any doubt? So you can ask your query and put your query on chat box, so that I can clear it. Okay, let's continue. Now I will add some another things, append mode. So working of the append mode, it will work, illustrate append mode. File is equal to open vijay.txt, a for append, and file.write, this will add this line, so file.close, so it will append some lines into that. So a is open an existing file for append operations. It will not override existing data. And if you are using a plus to append and read the data from the file, so it will not overwrite existing data, right? So that is the things that we can use here, right? So here I have told you about the read, write, append options, right? So we can just here write a program on that, right? Just like file is equal to open wizard.txt, comma r. So this commands open the file widget.txt and which you want to show, and you can only read that files. If you have apply the option w, so it will write the data and it will override the data, existing data, right? If you want to add a, so open an existing file for append operations, it will not override existing data while performing the append operations. While performing A plus operations to append and read data from the file, so it will not overriding the existing data, right? So is that unclear to you? Okay, so I will tell you about some files here. Right, so files are named locations on disk to store related information where you are keeping that files on the locations. So they are used to permanently store data in a non-volatile memory that is called hard disk. So it is a non-volatile memory. Since random access memory is a volatile, which loads the data when the computer is turned off. So we use files for future use of the data by permanently storing them, right? When we want to read from or write to a file, so we need to open it first, and when we are done, so it's need to be closed so that the resources that are tied with that files are freed. So here we performed in different kind of operations like open a file, reading or writing a file, performing various operations, writing and appending, and after that we used to close the files, right? So some built operations I have told you about, like R that opens a file for reading, W for writings, creating a files if it does not exist, or it truncates the file if it exists, and X for open a file for exclusive creations if the file already exists, so operations fails. A for appends opens a file for appending at the end of the file without it truncating it, so it creating the new file, it does not exist, right? So this is the things which I have shown you, taking some example. Unlike other languages, like character A does not imply the number 97. So until it is encoded using ASCII or other equivalent encoding. So moreover, the default encoding is platform dependent. So in Windows, it is a CP1252 and but UDF it in Linux. So we must not also rely on the default encoding, or else our code will behave differently in different platforms. So hence, when working with files in text mode, it is highly recommended to specify the encoding type. So encoding type, you have to use it here. So when we closing the files, so use the encoded, right? And when we append it, writing it, so use it that, right? So if you have any questions, to put your query on chat box so that I will clear it. So thank you for the day. Have a nice time.